A very delightful morning, children. This is your Vanaja teacher, and I welcome you all for the second session of your second lesson, Laws of Motion. Before entering into the today's topic, we will have a recapitulation of the last class. In the last class, we have studied about the first law of motion and how it is related to inertia and mass. Did you remember, children, what is meant by inertia? Inertia is the property of an object that resists to change its position, whatever its position may be, either in the rest or in the motion. Coming to inertia, two types of inertia we have discussed. One is static inertia and one more is dynamic inertia. Static inertia deals with the objects which are there at rest, and dynamic inertia deals with the objects which are there in the motion. They resist to change their positions either from the rest or from the motion. That is called as the inertia. And how this inertia is related to mass? Inertia always depends upon the mass. Each and every object don't have the same inertia. Children, you are all there. Hardly 30 to 40 members will be there in a class. Each and every student don't have the interest in the same subject. Some will be having the interest in maths, some will be in physics, some will be in chemistry. Like this, in the same way, each and every object don't have the same mass, as you all don't have the same interest in one subject. It depends upon the types of objects which you are taking there. Is it clear, children? And mass of an object is considered as a measure of inertia. Why? Because it purely depends upon the mass. That's why as a criteria, we will take the mass of an object. Yes, let us enter into the today's content. Today we will learn about the second law of motion and how it is related to linear momentum. Now see this slide. Now we will learn about the Newton's second law of motion. He is ready to teach you, children. Are you ready then? Yes. I will go with. Before entering into this, a small example I want to discuss. If you place a ball on a flat surface and if you push it gently, what will happen? It will start moving. What will happen after some time? It will come to the rest position. Why? Already we have accelerated it, but it is coming to the rest position. What is the reason behind it? Yes, it is a frictional force which is making to come to rest. In your 8th class, you have studied about the different types of forces acting on an object. And even in our last class also, I have given a free body diagram for you, where for a body, gravity will be there, normal force will be there, the force which you are applying will be there, frictional force will be there. All these types of forces will be acting on it. And today we will learn the relation between the acceleration and the force which you are giving to the objects. How this acceleration of an object depends upon the forces applied on it. We will learn about it today, and it is said to be the linear momentum. In this particular concept, you will be learning it. Yes, it is linear momentum. Before entering into the content which have been displayed here, few more examples I want to discuss with you, children. If a badminton ball and a cricket ball are there, they both hit you with the same speed, then which one will hurt you more? Surely a cricket ball. And in the same way, a heavy truck is there and a small bicycle is there. In these two, if you move up in these two and if you are hitting a wall, which one can damage the wall more? Surely a heavy truck. But one more example I want to tell you. A small bullet which is fired from the gun damages the wall. Is it or not? A small bullet, because of its high speed with which it is traveling. Is it or not, children? Thus, we can tell that the momentum is a concept where it will be discussing with the mass of an object and its velocities. It is represented with a symbol P. See here, I have given in the slide linear momentum, or simply you can call it as a momentum, children. It's a product of mass and velocity. Already we know velocity will be having the direction. Is it or not? And that's why the linear momentum also will be having direction as well as the magnitude. What is meant by magnitude, children? In the previous first lesson we have discussed, magnitude is nothing but the value. Magnitude is nothing but the value. As how the velocity will be having the direction, momentum also will be having the direction, as it is the product of mass and velocity, and it will be representing with a symbol P. This is the symbol with which you will be representing the momentum, children. And the SI unit of momentum is kg meter per second. See here, the units of mass is kg, it is clear, and units of velocity is meters per second, because velocity is equal to displacement by time. All the basic concepts which you have learned before, you will be applying here as a formula. That's why I will be telling in 8th and 9th classes, whatever the concepts which you will be learning, those will be the basics for your 10th class, and 9th and 10th basics will be there for your intermediate. Is it or not, children? That is the thing which I will be telling in your classes also. That's why listen the content very carefully. The units always will be derived from the formula. Here the momentum formula is mass and velocity. The units of mass is kg and the units of velocity is meter per second. Therefore the SI unit of momentum will become kg meter per second. It is very easy to get the unit, isn't or not? Yes. Here a single slide showing you the formula of momentum is equal to mass into velocity. M is the mass and V is the velocity. Did you understand now? Yes. Here one more slide which is showing you the SI unit of momentum as kg meter per second. It is also represented as Newton second. Here the value of, or the Newton here, what is the unit you will be getting is kg meter per second square is a Newton. And here that one you will substitute, that's why you will be getting Newton second. You can write kg meter per second or simply Newton second also you can write. This is the unit of momentum. Now let us discuss few more examples. How depend, because I have told you the acceleration, how the bodies of acceleration, how it depends upon the force. Here in the slide I have taken two objects, both are having the same volume or both are equal. Is it or not, children? But the forces which I am applying on them are different. Here see, in the first object, on the first object I am applying a force, I am representing with capital F. On the second object, this is also the same, both our objects are same, both the objects are same, but here the force which I am making it to act on it is little bit more. That's why the same F I have represented a little bit bigger than the smaller one. Is it or not? Here if I ask you a question, which object will travel more distance? I have placed both these on a flat surface, and I have applied the forces, different forces, but both the objects are of same volumes and same masses and all. Then surely your answer will be, where you are applying the more force, surely that object will travel more distance, and wherever you are applying the less force, that object will travel less distance. That means for the first object acceleration will be very less because the force which you have applied is less, and for the second object acceleration will increase more rather than the first one because the force which you have applied on it is also very different, or different force, more force you have applied. Yes, here we will go with one more slide. Two different objects I have taken, one is very small and one is very high. That means both are having different masses, but in the previous example both are having the same mass. Now I will apply the same force in both the objects, on both the objects, then which one of this will be moving more distance? Surely the smaller one. Here the forces which I have applied on both the objects is same, but as the mass is more, it can't move more distance. As the same force, how much of force I am applying on the first object, the same force I am applying on the second object also. That's why it need more force, forget more accelerated. Why? Because more mass it is having. But I have applied the same force, surely the smaller object will travel more distance. Is it or not, children? The larger the net force, the greater the acceleration. Surely how much of force you are applying on an object, depending upon that, the acceleration of the body, that means the speed of the body, will depend upon. And also, if the mass is less, the acceleration will be very high. And if the mass is more, the acceleration will be very less. What the Newton stated is, rate of change of momentum of an object is proportional to the net force applied on the object. Again I repeat, the Newton's second law states that rate of change of momentum of an object is proportional to the net force acting on it. Here, based on this, that means rate, already I have told you in the previous chapters, rate if you are getting, the meaning is divided by the time. The rate of change, if you are telling, the meaning is whatever you are telling there, that particular one divided by time. Then how symbolically we can represent this Newton's second law, we will see. Yes, Newton's second law, before giving us a symbolical representation, a very clear picture I have given here for you. See here, if you apply more force to an object, it accelerates a higher rate. Same mass, here both the masses are same. With a little bit force, you have applied some force on this, then it have accelerated. The speed increases, surely, because you are accelerating it, you are giving the force. But see the second picture, the objects are same, but more force you are applying, surely the speed increases faster. That is the difference, children. In the previous objects, we don't have a person standing here. Simply I have shown you with the two different examples of same blocks and different masses. This is a clear picture showing you how the acceleration increases based on the force. Now this is the second law which I have told for you. The Newton's second law states that the rate of change of momentum, rate of change in the sense the momentum divided by time you will be getting back. The rate of change of momentum of an object is proportional to the net force acting on it. Now we will see the symbolical representation. F, that is the net force, is equal to rate of change of momentum. What is the symbol of momentum? P. Rate of change, that means delta P by T. Here delta represents the change. Delta represents the change. Previously how much of momentum it is. Surely if you are pushing an object, it will come from the rest only. That means its speed will be increasing. Previously it is at 0, but afterwards it will be having some value. Isn't it or not? That is said to be the change. That change of momentum. Here clearly it have been given. See here, children. F is the force which you will be representing with Newton. Time with second, and momentum is ns. That is the units. Kg meter per second also you can represent, or Newton second also you can represent. But already we know what is meant by momentum. What is meant by momentum? It's a product of mass and velocity. The same I have substituted in the place of P, I have substituted mv. Always the mass doesn't change. If you push an object or if you pull an object, the mass doesn't change. Only the change you can see is there, its speed. Nothing but if it is moving in this particular direction, its velocity. That's why mass as a constant I have taken out, and change of velocity by time. But already we know in the previous class, acceleration is a change of velocity. Rate of change of velocity is nothing but acceleration, which you have learned in your lesson motion. Then instead of delta v by t, change of velocity by time, simply I have represented with the a acceleration. From this, F net means the force which is acting on an object will be equal to, always equal to, the mass and acceleration. Mass and acceleration. And this SI unit of force, here this is a force. Here the SI unit of force will be kg meter per second square, or simply you can tell it's 1 Newton. Mass kg. Again I am deriving the units, children. F is equal to mva. Mass always you will be representing with kg. And acceleration, it's velocity by time. Already velocity means meters per second. By time again it is there. That's why it will become meter per second square. Now you will be getting kg meter per second square. And simply we will be denoting with the letter n. Did you understand, children? This is the way how to derive the Newton's second law. This is the Newton's second law. Now thank you, children. I wish you all have understood the today's topic. This Newton's first law, second law and third law are very, very important for us, children. In our daily life, so many activities will be moving on based on these laws only. That's why you read the textbook, whatever we have discussed today. Second law we have discussed. Already first law is completed. You read both the laws from your textbook. Textual reading is very, very important, children. Okay. Hope you all understood the lesson. And now it's your work starts. This is the assignment for the topic which we have discussed. Do the assignment in your books. Have a nice day. Thank you.